What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of Friday Night WrestleCast, the late edition, which means it's Saturday night. That's right, we're a day after. But, life, things happen. We got events, we got other things, we got World Series, other things going on. And so, but you know what? This is a short one. There's only 5 matches. So, this shouldn't be too bad. We're covering WWE Hell in a Cell 2020. I am your host, Adam Vale. Tonight I am joined by Dana Abercrombie. What's up, Dana?
Yay, Dana.
Ricky Negron.
Hola.
And Richard Bailey Jr.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
As you can tell, we're all super hyped for this pay-per-view. Holy shit. Forget about WrestleMania. Forget about AEW's All Out. This is it. Hell in a Cell. We're going to see some blood. We're going to see people go through the cage. This is going to be bananas. Oh, man. Don't you wish? I was watching on the WWE Network that Untold special series that they have. Everybody should check that out, especially the new one with Kane. It's awesome. But it just reminds you that they keep showing the highlights. Whenever they show Hell in a Cell, they always show highlights, right? And they're showing the older ones, the older matches. They're showing with Undertaker and Triple H, and of course the infamous Mick Foley getting thrown off the top, and Triple H. But what about all the other ones after that? The recent ones, no one gives a shit because they just don't live up to that hype. What we would expect from Hell in a Cell, which is just carnage and mayhem. Yeah, so whatever.
And they don't have them painted red like they do now, making them look like milk crates.
Yes, that is true. It doesn't. So overall, it doesn't have the feel, doesn't have the aura. It just doesn't. It sucks that we just don't get to that point. But you know what? We got Halloween Havoc coming, people. Halloween Havoc. I am so hyped for that one. They're going to have the Wheel of Doom. They're going to have all kinds of crazy. Yeah. Got our boyfriend of the show, Damian Priest. He was on the bump. And he was over here. I don't know if he was spilling news or he was just making up some shit. But he said that he would like to do a Buried Alive match and an Inferno match. If that's on the wheel. So what do you think? You think that should be on the wheel? Anybody here think we should see any of that crates or expect to see any of that craziness on the wheel?
I would say
Give me a cinematic match. We know that there's rumors of Undertaker. Sting is still around. He's still breathing. Give me that. That would be a great Halloween Havoc match.
That would be a great surprise Halloween Havoc match. Because we know that's not on the card. So.
It'll definitely be fitting to have Sting do it, considering that he's arguably the biggest icon of WCW.
Yeah, he's the biggest icon in my life right now. There we go. I got this action figure looking right now because I have an unhealthy amount of action figures on my desk. But you know what? This is all about Hell in a Cell. Here we go. 5 matches. Let's break this down. We got Otis versus The Miz. This is for the Money in the Bank. This is WWE's way of trying to take this Money in the Bank briefcase off of Otis. Kind of whack. I don't understand this. I thought this was Vince's boy, right? Wasn't that the word on the internet? All the dirt sheets were talking about Meltzer and everybody saying that the reason why he was getting this big push was because Vince liked Otis. But here it is. Here we stand. They broke up the tag team. Now he has this match that just got added on, and the briefcase is on the line. So I don't know, Rich or Ricky, whoever wants to go first. What do you think of this match? Do you think this is right? Who do you think is going to come away with this briefcase? Ricky?
Okay, I'll go first. As far as this goes, I don't think they're gonna give it to The Miz. I think Otis is gonna retain it. They're doing it for dramatic effect. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that they've had a match where a briefcase was, put on the line. I mean, they have had someone drop it before. I believe it was Mr. Kennedy. Is that right?
Kennedy. Yeah.
Kennedy. Yeah, he had the briefcase and lost it. But apart from that, they've had a lot of times where it's been defended. I remember Ziggler defending it against Cena and retaining it that way. So, my thing is, if it was someone other than The Miz, I would think maybe there'll be their way of taking it off of Otis. But, I don't know. I think Otis is going to retain.
I hope so. Because we haven't seen him do anything with it. He hasn't even really even hinted that he was going to cash this in. And honestly, do we see him cashing this in anytime soon? Does that fit in the storyline that we see with Roman Reigns? I mean, technically, yes, he doesn't have to go for Roman Reigns' title, but still, you would think that's the title he would go for. And right now, with all the stuff going on with Jay and that whole storyline, it just doesn't fit. So maybe that's why they're doing this whole matchup with The Miz and just try to keep it relevant. But Rich, what do you think of this?
I personally believe that Otis is going to retain. I mean, they've already broken up the tag team, so I don't think it would make sense for them to all of a sudden give his Money in the Bank contract to The Miz. And I will also add that while I am a fan of The Miz, I am not a fan of The Miz and John Morrison. I'm a little tired of this team right now.
I agree. I'm so disappointed. I was so hyped when, Morrison or whoever, Johnny Impact, when he came he came back to WWE. I was excited because we know what he's done in the Indies. We know what he did in Impact, Lucha Underground. He was a leader of a faction over in Lucha Underground. He showed that he doesn't have to be a supporting cast member. He could be a main event, a main superstar, which he was on the Indies. And then he shows up here, and it's as if he never left. He's in that supportive role again. He's mid-card range, not main eventing anything, and it's rather disappointing. Keep going.
Yeah. And the only other point that I would add, I agree, it is disappointing, is we knew it was bad when, obviously when he made his debut, when he made his return to WWE, they was involved with New Day at the time. Yeah, that was okay. But then you knew he was done for when you saw him job out to Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble the way he did. So that's why I say it is disappointing.
Yeah, I remember that. A lot of people looked weak against Brock in that one. Remember Ricochet? Everybody just getting tossed out. I was like, that didn't matter.
Well, Ricochet got in some offense to help this guy get eliminated.
Oh,
so
yeah, it's true.
But yeah, a lot of people did not look good against Brock. But yeah, the point that I'm going to is I don't think they're going to take this off of Otis. And to answer your earlier question, I don't think Otis is cashing in anytime soon. I mean, Roman Reigns right now is the focal point on SmackDown. There's no way, and if he does cash in, there's no way in hell they're going to have him beat Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. It could happen, I guess, next year, closer to WrestleMania. But he's not losing to tomorrow night.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, do we see him even cashing against Drew? Or if, let's say, Drew loses the belt to Randy or anybody, or I just don't see it. We just don't see it. He doesn't fit.
They're gonna keep up. Like they had the opportunity to move him to Raw, and they chose not to. Mm-hmm. So clearly, whatever cash is going to happen on the SmackDown brand. I think that if they try to have Otis, if they try to keep the briefcase on Otis, it's going to be closer to the next Money in the Bank. Which would be after WrestleMania, before he makes the attempt. Because I don't see him doing it while Roman's champion.
Yeah, that's true. And from what we understand, Roman is supposed to hold this title for a good amount of time. Right? They said something like over a year or something. They want to just keep it on him for a while. So, all right. So it seems like everybody's there. What about Dana? Dana, what do you think? Otis is one of your favorite wrestlers of all time. How do you feel about this? He does the caterpillar.
Well,
I can't. That's one of your favorite dance moves back in the club days. So pre-COVID.
In the club.
What do you think?
Pre-COVID, I was in there with the Worman. No. Here's the thing. Him winning the belt at that time felt okay. This was cute and fun, but it just kind of never went anywhere. And I honestly forgot that he even had the briefcase because it's been so long, and it's just been so long. I don't see him cashing in because right now the storyline that he has going on with Jay, it just seems to be too interruptive. And I like what's going on with that storyline. I don't want to see some random thing with, even if he loses, him coming down and cashing in. It just doesn't make any sense. So I do see maybe he can cash it in. He'll win it and he retains and cash it in. I don't know. that, like they said, maybe the what was it, the pay-per-view before WrestleMania. I mean, they went through this whole sketch thing. That, remember that whole Otis, Law and Otis, about him retaining and having the thing. I don't understand why they did that. It just felt like it was trying to be like an answer to the debonair dinner that we saw. But I do feel that for this match, I agree with what you guys are saying. I don't know what's going on with John Morrison. I kind of felt like there was no reason for him to come back. There's no reason for him to stay. It feels like he never left. But the match, I forgot what the match was. I forgot.
Which one? What? This one with Otis and The Miz? It's just a regular
That.
match for the briefcase.
Otis. Yeah, okay. Otis. Yeah, that's what it was. Otis and the Miz. I can see Otis winning, but I do see John Morrison getting involved.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah, it's possible.
But it's one of those throwaway things. It's like, why?
It is. Exactly why. And
The
remember,
Miz itself is just. I feel that the Miz is just floundering as well.
Mm-hmm. But he likes to be in this role for some reason. He's been in this role for
Well,
a
then
long
let him
time.
flounder. But to me, it's
And it seems to work for him. I feel I put him in the same category as Dolph Ziggler. They're in that area where you're like, are they going up? Are they going down? No, they're steady mid-carders. That's just their role. All right, so let's move on. Match number 4. This is Jeff Hardy versus Elias, a singles match, and this is Elias's return match after injury. They're still playing off of that whole gimmick of Jeff Hardy sort of being drunk or whatever they were trying to do with that whole angle and running over Elias to explain why he was injured and out for a while. So this is that type of retribution match for Elias. So I'm not invested in this at all. I'm kind of upset that this is happening the way it is because I have a feeling they're just going to squash Jeff now. I think this is it. Because usually, if we go into traditional WWE format, when someone returns from injury, what do? They win their match, right? They don't lose. This is it. This is his comeback match. And this is his comeback match in a feud with Jeff. And it's weird. Are they trying to bring him... I know they were trying to push him as a babyface before the whole thing happened. Is he still considered a babyface? Because I saw him last week, and he's promoting an album, and he did a whole song during the show. Are they trying to still push him as a babyface? I don't know.
No.
Rich, no? No? All right, that was it. That was a good answer. I loved it. It was very detailed. All right.
Well, no. I thought I was going to let Ricky go because it looked like he had something to say.
Oh, yeah. There we go, Ricky.
No. I had just as much as you. It was basically flat out, Elias is a heel. That couldn't be more obvious.
Yeah, because he hit him he hit Jeff and the whole thing. But then again, if you think about it, if you think that the man that's in that ring ran you over while he was drunk, and it cost you months of your career, payback. I think anybody could get.
No, but it doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Because they kept establishing, and they even said that it wasn't Jeff Hardy. They kept saying it again. This whole thing doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, but they're continuing it. They're going with it. So, real quick before we even get started on this, do you guys think this is the beginning of a feud, or you think this is a one-off? Dana,
Beginning.
Ricky, you think it's a beginning? You think this is it? This is going to keep going?
I think that like obviously like the very beginning of it was Elias cracking that guitar over the party. Mm-hmm. But as far as this match, like I'm gonna just get my prediction out right now. I think Jeff Hardy wins, and then Elias retaliates the next opportunity he gets and continues the feud forward. That's how I see it. So, but yeah, this is the beginning of a little program, which given their record in this company, it will probably last for 4 months. So get ready. It's going to be Jeff Hardy winning this, but it's not going to be the end of it.
All right. On that note, I'll just get mine out the way too. I'm really surprised and disappointed that here it is at Hell in a Cell, a gimmicked pay-per-view, and there's no gimmick in this match. If you're coming back after an injury and you're trying to beat the shit out of a guy who you think ran you over with a car, then let's do this in a cage. Let's do some kind of gimmick on this. You want to inflict some kind of pain, make it brutal. Don't just do a singles match. Come on now, who cares? Whatever. All right, so I'll just say Jeff. Same thing, but it's weird because this is Elias's return match. So under logic, under the way WWE does things, you would think Elias wins this unless it's a DQ. So you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to say DQ. That's my pick, DQ. Rich, what do you got for this?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I think Jeff Hardy will win by disqualification. I definitely don't believe that Jeff Hardy will lose the match because they want to continue the story of this is his redemption, his return, his redemption. So I don't think. I mean, even if he eventually loses a match to Elias, Jeff Hardy is going to be the one that wins the feud because they obviously have bigger plans for him on Monday Night Raw, similar to what they tried to do on SmackDown. So either way, he's going to win the feud. But tomorrow night, he's going to possibly win this match by disqualification.
Yeah, and he just signed a new contract, and he was open about that. So we know he's got plans, and he's bringing back his Willow song. Remember that little song that he had where he would come down when he was doing the solo thing? So that's happening. Dana, who do you have for this?
I
Hope you cut out.
this doesn't make any sense again, and it doesn't make any sense again, and also it like you guys. Oh, yay! This should be a gimmick match, as you guys were saying, something involving a parking lot and cars. I don't know, but in regards to who would win, it has to be Elias, because what is the point of him coming back and then you just flat out loses? Mm-hmm. So I'm okay with Jeff Hardy losing this one, and if this is a feud, he'll win.
Well, that's
the other ones.
I agree, and that's what we were saying. It's like usually in WWE fashion, whoever gets injured returns and then they win that match. So I'm thinking he's going to get so angry, something's going to happen. He's going to grab a chair or something under the ring, and the wrestler's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop! Stop!" And he's going to get reckless, and he's going to beat the shit out of Jeff, and he's going to ring the bell, ring the bell. So Jeff is going to win by DQ, but Elias is going to get his lickings. So, all right, so there goes that one. See, I'm telling you, people, this is going to be a quick one. Match number 3. We got Bayley. She's a champ over on SmackDown going against Sasha Banks. Hell in a Cell. Our first gimmick match of this pay-per-view. This should be fun. Dana, since you were already talking, what do you think about this? You hyped for this match? Is this going to live up to expectations?
I am bored of seeing them together. I am bored to see them with this feud, but I will tell you this, I'm excited for this match because they've never really faced each other in this kind of Hell in a Cell. I think that Bayley has been Hell in a Cell maybe twice, and Sasha never, or maybe it's vice versa. But I am excited for this because they're really great performers. And in this match, and with this Hell and being in a cell, I think it's going to be very great. So I do see this not necessarily stealing the show, but it hopefully being memorable. So I am looking forward to whatever they decide to go with this. I do, however, would appreciate Sasha to win just to shut up Bayley. So that would be really fun as well. But in Sasha, she has a lot of things that's going with her. Remember, she's in Star Wars. And it would be that comes in next month.
Wait,
and that would be really great to have her I'm sorry, the Mandalorian one. She's in the next season, which is premiering next month in November. So it would be really great to kind of see her. No.
Oh no, next week.
Next week. Whoa, breaking news. Next week.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Season 2.
Yeah, it starts next Friday.
Oh, well then there you go. I need her to win. That way, look, she's in Mandalorian. She has the belt. She does her press tours. And that way it works out for everyone. WWE's like, yay. The Mandalorian's like, yay. And I'm like, yay.
Yep, and I'm yay too. All right. Rich, what do you think about this match? You hyped for it? You think it's going to be quality? This is a Hell in a Cell. Are they actually going to use this cell? That's the problem with all these things. It sounds great that they're in it, and they always advertise it like it's a big deal, but they don't really utilize it. They bang against the side of the cell a little bit, and then that's it. It's over. So what do you think, Rich?
Yeah, so I to answer the question, I am looking forward to this match. I'm glad that they have finally decided to move forward with this feud after what took forever for them to get to this point. I personally think that Bayley is going to win. Because in my mind, I think that Bayley is the one, she has this belt. I think it means a lot more for her to have the belt right now, only because this storyline is not going to end. I mean, this is a feud that's going to definitely continue after this match because it just feels like it needs to continue onward. And I know I had spoke with Ricky, and I also spoke with this spoke about this with you and Dana also, is that it feels like I was a little disappointed that they did not separate Sasha and Bailey when they did this whole draft thing, because they could have prolonged this feud for WrestleMania, but instead they kept them both on the same show. So I'm totally fine with that decision, but I just think for right now, Bailey is the one that I think should win this match, and the feud can continue. But I do feel when Sasha wins the belt and beats Bailey, that's going to be when the feud is over. But for now, I think it's really just getting started. And the last point that I will add is they've also been telling this storyline that Sasha is not 100%. And I don't know what her status is now, because I didn't watch all of SmackDown on Friday. But I would assume that they're still going to have her try to sell that she's not 100%, which will be a reason to explain why she loses this match. But yeah, my pick is Bailey for sure, 100%.
You got Bailey. Ricky.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Bailey retaining. Just because I think that, if you think about it, they've spent, like 5 years building up to this? And they're not going to give the payoff right away. That's not how they operate. They're going to make you beg for the payoff. And they do this was the slowest of burns you can imagine leading up to this feud. And with Sasha's not going to get it done on the first try. That's just not going to happen. I can see Bailey retaining, and they're going to find a way to push this off to WrestleMania. Because if you think about it, you've got your pay-per-view this month with Hell in a Cell, and next month will be Survivor Series. Month after that's TLC, and after that, Royal Rumble. They're going to have some way to hold off and have Sasha win the Royal Rumble, challenge Bailey at WrestleMania. That's where they're really going to settle things. So that's how I see that going. And then just one note I wanted to add is that with this match, Sasha is going to be the first one to have faced all three of her fellow horsewomen at a Hell in a Cell match. So that's just a fun fact there.
She's not going to win it.
No, she's not. It's going to be Bailey. So.
All right, got Bailey. Yeah, for me, it's sad, but yeah, I agree. I have a feeling this feud is going to drag out all the way till Mania. This is just what they've been hyping up for the longest. They had them as a tag team, and they did that whole thing. And now that they're apart and they're starting the feud, this is it. This is the beginning. So it just has to be brutal. They have to pull something off here to make us really care and invest into wanting to see more of these two in a match. I just don't know if I see it. And I guess because I've seen them battle it out in NXT when they had their major feud there for a while. So, yeah, it's a rehash of that whole thing. But hopefully it's good. And if you're going to put it in the cell, you gotta be creative. I don't know. I know that over the years we've seen them change things with the cell. Remember, it was very close to the ring. Then they spread it out so that way they could have more outside area space to work with and do other things and set things up. So maybe we'll get some surprises. But yeah, I agree. Bailey's going to retain this belt. But anything's possible, because if you think about it, even if Sasha wins, this feud isn't going to be over. They're going to keep going at it. But yeah, I think Sasha will find some way to win. So there goes that. Here we go. Match number 2. Back in the cell. We got Drew, the champion, versus Randy Orton. And this is for the belt. This is the big one. This is the one everyone keeps wondering. And a lot of people going back and forth on this. And I agree. And I'll just get my prediction out of the way. I have a feeling this is it. Randy Orton's going to win. With 4th time's the charm, right, for this one. I have a feeling this is it. It's a pay-per-view event. It's considered not the biggest one, but it's going to have a lot of attention on it. And you know what? If Randy doesn't win, the only other thing I can think of is Keith Lee is under the ring. And he comes out and interferes. And then they deal with something like that. Because there's still a ref involved. And people, just like if they need to remember when we saw with The Fiend and with Seth Rollins, you could still get disqualified in a cell, which sort of makes no sense. You would think anything goes in a cell. But that's not the case. So either Keith Lee gets involved and is a DQ, or Randy Orton wins. But I don't see Drew walking out as champ. I don't think they're gonna pull an AEW and make him the Almighty like Moxley is and just destroy everybody. We've seen about 4 or 5 matches I feel between Drew and Randy, and all kinds of gimmick matches now. We saw it with the ambulance and with some of the other street fights and things that they were doing, and here it is now in Hell in a Cell. If they're going to keep teasing it this way, usually in traditional WWE fashion, when there's a feud that goes on for multiple matches and multiple months, the person that's the challenger usually wins the belt. That's how it works. Whether it's clean or dirty, it happens. And so that's where I put it here. So I say Randy Orton or DQ if Keith Lee is underneath the ring. But yeah, I say Randy Orton. Dana, what do you got for this?
I really like this feud, even though it's way too long and there were a lot of botchy moments, especially when he did that stomp thing when he went to go kick him in the head, and you could see that he missed like a mile apart. I did not like the last
It
time
was just a cable on
last
delay.
week.
He kicked it. I saw his head. It swung. There was sweat. It hit the camera. You missed it. Keep going.
No. Also, there was the part. Remember, I think it was last week where they kind of teased him and Randy Orton. They dragged him into the cell, and then it just went off, and then that was sad. But for this feud, I am slightly. It was very weird. I'm excited for this one. I do see that it's the poor Drew, first of all, because it was just really bad timing for when he won his belt. It was it was just really bad timing. Nobody saw this pandemic coming, so in that sense, I think that because of that and lack of crowds and certain things, he didn't get the run that he really truly deserved. So he can always try again later, but it's time for him to lose that belt. And I can see Randy Orton winning. It's just that time. Remember when they had the whole legends come and they did the whole legend thing again, and they had Ric Flair. They keep dragging him out, but they had Ric Flair and they had HBK and they had all the other ones. I think it's just there's nowhere else for him.
It should have been
over.
That feud should have ended right there. There. When everybody came out to get their lickings, it should have been it. That's it. I agree. And that's why when I heard this... keep going.
No, because I feel that they continued this. They're just he's just gonna win it because it should have never continued after that. It was a great send off, especially when they kicked him down and he fell off the ambulance thing. But we're going through this again, so he's gonna just probably win anyway.
Yeah, and then that's what everyone thought. It was like, oh, with the ass whooping he just took, Randy Orton, that is, that's it. He's gonna be off TV for a while, right? We could expect that. No, that did not happen. So what in my mind, this is what I'm thinking. This is what Vince is thinking. Well, he wants Drew as the babyface, their main babyface champ, but he wants that reaction, that WrestleMania moment. He didn't get it this last WrestleMania, but he's hoping, well, maybe we can get that reaction at next WrestleMania. So let's say Randy Orton drops this, then he starts doing a feud with Keith Lee for a while, leading up to Mania. Drew gets his rematch at WrestleMania, and hopefully we could bring crowds back. I don't know if that's going to be a thing, but hey, if it is, then in front of a crowd, Drew wins. It's sort of like a redo of what we saw before, but this time with a crowd, and he gets that reaction. So, I don't know. I think that's what Vince is doing. Rich,
so then do you see him winning the Royal Rumble again?
Who, Drew?
Because that's the only kind of way.
No. I think he'll get a rematch. I don't see them, no. Look how many chances Randy's
taking. Then a three-way?
Randy's getting a bunch of chances right now for this. So throw all that out the window of like, oh no, you get it one shot and then you get dropped down the list. That's some bullshit. We know that's bullshit. They're not pulling an AEW where counting your wins and losses here. So if that was under that logic, Randy Orton, he already had too many shots. He's done. But that's not the case here. So I have a feeling Drew will get that rematch, but that rematch will come at Mania, and he'll win it at that point. But if anything, if Randy wins this, he's going to be champ until then. I don't see him dropping it right after this to Keith Lee. And there's nobody else that's contending besides Keith Lee and Drew. But Ricky, what do you think about this one?
Well, I don't think that they're gonna have like a rematch between Drew and Orton at Mania, because I think Orton's Mania opponent is pretty much written in pencil at this point, and that would be Edge. Uh, when Edge comes back, that's who Orton's going to have a feud with. That's going to go into Mania. So we're going to go through that again whenever Edge returns. But looking on the short term, I think Drew retains. I think that they definitely messed this up by having Orton have second chances, third chances, fourth chances, fifth chances, whatever. And they didn't need to do that. It should have ended with the ambulance match.
You're right.
That was a perfect way to end it. And so I just don't understand. I think that this... So my theory on this is that this is a filler match for a few reasons. Orton is legitimate enough that even if he loses 4 consecutive times, he could still come out the next night and do something dastardly and make himself a legitimate threat all over again. He can hit the reset button at any point he wants. And it just makes sense that Keith Lee would be the next guy that he feuds with. And so I see Orton not getting the belt. I see him losing. With Drew McIntyre, the thing to factor in here is the draft. Is that if you had asked me beforehand, before this draft happened, I would think, well, it's got to be Orton because who else is Drew going to face? But now that the draft has happened, now you're going to have guys like AJ Styles step up to the plate. Now you have Braun Strowman. Now you've got the Fiend Bray Wyatt. You have Sheamus, who I think might be Drew's next opponent after Orton, just as a filler. But you have more possibilities than you did before. Now, as far as who's going to take the belt off of him, because I don't see Drew taking it from Mania to Mania. It's going to drop at some point, possibly at Royal Rumble. But I don't think it's going to be tomorrow. I don't think, or rather, Sunday, Hell in a Cell. I don't think it's going to be that time. Drew will get that moment back. It might not even happen at this coming Mania, but I think that they're not going to have him drop it just yet. I just have him retaining.
Yeah. I just feel that they're giving too many chances to Randy. Too many. They're doing this for a reason. Too many. And the only other reason I can think of is just Vince loves Randy right now, and he feels when it comes to strong heels, he's the strongest they have right now. And it's hard to argue that. He is a strong heel, like you pointed out. He can just do something dastardly, and yeah, he's back in the mix. We're like, oh yeah, we want to see this. We want to see this happen. But we've seen this matchup too many times within the past few months. So, we'll see. Rich, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with pretty much everything that Ricky had said here. I mean, Drew McIntyre definitely needs to retain. And I think that he will win this match for a couple other reasons. This is his first Hell in a Cell match. They were they pointed that out very clear to try to say Randy Orton has an advantage because he's been in many Hell in a Cell matches, etc., which is fine. But Randy Orton has also had multiple matches with Drew McIntyre over the last couple of months. And once again, the point that was said, and I'm going to be the third person to say this, this feud should have ended with the ambulance match because you clearly had in that match Drew McIntyre punt Randy Orton. That should have been the end of the feud right there because Randy Orton kept punting legends all the way up until he had this match with Drew McIntyre. Yeah. So that in storyline, that should have been it. But because WWE, they broke their own rule of talking about there's not going to be any title rematches. And they decide, well, no, we need to keep this feud going. Oh, and I feel they only kept it going because of the draft, because they want to take time to build up Drew's next opponent, but they didn't want to rush into that, so they just had him continue on with Orton. That's the reason why this match is happening. But yeah, I think Drew McIntyre wins. If Randy Orton was going to win this match, was going to win and become champion, that should have happened already. And this could have been the match that Drew won the belt back, but they decided to just have Drew constantly win matches against Randy Orton. So that's what's going to happen. And as for the comment you made earlier about Keith Lee showing up, Keith Lee is in a feud right now with Braun Strowman. Yeah, There's no way that they can end that match that they had on Monday Night Raw, and then that's it. These guys don't have a feud after that. I feel like they have to have a rematch. I'm surprised that match wasn't added to this card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only reason why I bring that up is because there's no one else. Usually, there's like 3 or 4 people in the mix for the title. That's usually how it works. We don't have that. This is it. If Randy Orton's done, we have no one. We had Keith Lee for a little bit, and then all of a sudden they decided to take him out of the picture and mix him up with Braun, which is also a quality feud right there. That's fun to watch, but still, Keith Lee just quickly just slipped down out of the title picture.
Well, yeah, but this goes back to what Ricky said. There are other people now because of the draft. AJ Styles clearly is no longer going to be competing for the U.S. title. He's going to be in the world title picture. I think they made that clear by what they're doing with him now, and the fact that he has a manager now,
Well, that
bodyguard,
that big
etc.
bodyguard, yeah, man. Mm-hmm.
So AJ Styles definitely a contender. You know, you have the Fiend involved with Retribution, which I think is very hilarious that you have him going against these guys. So I don't think he's going to be getting elevated to that yet. But yeah, AJ Styles is definitely in Sheamus. I like what Ricky said about Sheamus because that matchup is definitely going to happen. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen for sure.
Yeah, and according to the way social media was going off with the Fiend and with Retribution members, they made it seem like that was going to be added to this card. That the Fiend was going to have a match either with Mustafa or with all the members, the male members at least, in Hell in a Cell.
Well, I mean, obviously, this is the wrong show to say this, but I'm gonna make a prediction right now and say because the Hurt Business is also involved in this, that's going to be a Survivor Series match next month because I don't know why the Hurt Business is involved in this thing. And why the Fiend also, even though the Fiend doesn't need the Hurt Business, because you saw how he took apart.
Oh yeah, he made them look weak, which is the worst thing you can do when you have a large faction like this. Have one dude just come in and destroy them. How does that help them grow?
Well, the way they've been booking Bray, it was nice to see him defeat something.
Yeah, but you know what? All it takes is Goldberg with some spears, and the game is over. I'm telling you, he's done. That's the weakness. So they should get the big dude that's over in Retribution. Yo, just spear him to death, and that's it. That's how we win. He can't take it. He got a weak gut. Keep going, Rich.
Oh yeah, no, but to go back to what I was saying, yeah, I think Drew McIntyre will retain, and again, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would love to see him face AJ Styles. They've had a bit of a feud in the past, but this is for a title, so I think that will be a lot more different now because he is the world champion. But yeah, Randy Orton, if he loses, it's fine. He doesn't need to. I don't think he needs to win the belt now because, like I said, if I was Vince McMahon, I would have already gave Randy Orton the belt already. But you wait until the third or fourth match to finally give him the belt. It doesn't make any sense because if you're going to give Randy Orton the belt now, then I don't think Drew McIntyre should get a rematch. This is the end of the feud now, in my opinion. So if you're going to give him the belt, then that's it. And Drew McIntyre is just going to be having to compete and earn another shot over time. So I would just have Drew McIntyre.
If Drew wins this, it's done for Randy. I mean, we can't see any more of these matches between them.
Yeah.
This has to be it for Randy.
Well, yeah, it needs to be over. 100%. And even if Drew McIntyre loses, this feud needs to be over because we don't need to see any more matches between these guys.
We don't, but it might happen. But it looks like we're 50-50 because Dana and I think that Randy and Ricky and yourself think that it's true. But you know what? I bet this next match we're all going to be 100% on the same page. This is the final match on the card. Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. I want to put this down as 2 stipulations. They're calling this an I Quit match. But then there's also a stipulation that if Roman wins, Jay and his brother pretty much have to be goons for Roman. They have to see him as a tribal chief and just take orders from him. So they're bending the knee and work for him. This is like a gang initiation. Like, if I beat your ass, you join my gang. That's it. So does anyone here see Roman losing this match? Dana?
No, but I am beyond excited. I am really invested in this whole match, and I didn't think I would be. Um, it's just fresh, and it just feels something the WWE needs right now. And I kind of like their chemistry with each other. The fact that they involved the brother, saying since you always want to come down here, you're out too. I like that whole stipulation. I think it's cute. I wonder, and I hope somehow that The Rock or at least the other family members, because remember, all of them are families of wrestlers. So I hope we see some form of them at Hell in a Cell, even if it's through a video message or whatever they decide to do. Um, but I don't particularly see Roman losing just because of how they're setting up for the next feud. And remember, there is that rumor that The Rock is going to come and face him. Um, which I don't know, in some weird way, in like a fantasy thing in my head, The Rock could come and interfere in the match or cause some kind of distraction where Roman does lose. And now, Rocky comes back and he's all like, I'm the big chief and you have to now face me. And the stipulation is to get, I don't know
No,
what
there's
happened.
no.
I
Because
do want
remember,
to
if he
see
loses, that
the
means that Jay gets the title. That's not happening. Come on, that is not
he
happening.
gets the title, but now no, Jay can now get the title or something, or even if Roman wins, The Rock could come back and be like, "No, I'm Big Chief Maivia. You're gonna have to come and face me," and that could be their feud because there is that rumor that The Rock is going to come and face Roman Reigns, even if it's a rumor. I really do want this to
Well,
happen,
remember
but
that
I'm
rumor
very
comes.
heavily invested.
That rumor comes with another rumor. The rumor that could happen only if they can do live shows. So that's the other part of it. And do you really think
Oh,
we're going to see live shows
but
for Mania?
also
Okay.
yes, because here's the weird thing. I see Vince. This is in Florida. This is Vince McMahon. Through some weird way, I think that there's going to be a live show. I don't know if it's going to be an outdoors live show, but it's going to be a live show.
Yeah, but remember,
Um,
majority of people that go to
I just
Mania are from out of town. They're traveling. We still have all these travel restrictions and bans, so that's another factor.
You can have a smaller, scaled down version with fans that are technically locals. I don't know how to say this, but there have been large crowds, as we have seen,
I don't know what you're talking
that
about. I don't know what you're talking about. I
despite
haven't seen any
I
large
don't know what
crowd.
you said.
What are you talking
Exactly.
about, Dana? You and your fake news. There's no such thing.
But no, for in regards of this match, I don't see Roman Reigns losing just because it's Roman Reigns and you have the Paul Heyman situation. He's a big guy, but in my if a weird way, I do want to see the Usos win,
All right,
but
so
they're not
Dana,
going to.
there you go. You just blew my spot out because I really thought we were going to be 100% on this. And there you go. All right, you pulled a Brett Murdoch over from the throwdown. Thank you for going the opposite way. All right, Ricky, what do you think? Are you on the same boat? You think Jey Uso is going to walk away the champ? El Champion. He's going to destroy Roman Reigns, get that title.
Oh, no way, Roman's retaining, man.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Okay.
I can't even joke about that. It's just like, I'm thinking like you guys about what's the end game with this. Like how's The Rock going to get involved? And like I was actually looking, I haven't really been able to confirm this or not, but I remember that originally the plan was for WrestleMania 37 next year to take place in Los Angeles at their new football stadium there, but it sounds like now that's been changed back to Tampa, Raymond James Stadium, also because they think that they can get some fans in there.
Yeah. And then also, they still have all those strict rules about large gatherings in California. So
Yeah.
that's the other thing. So
Also, we also do have to remember one thing that we are leaving out because it is newsy. The news. Remember, WWE is being investigated for being a hotspot by Orange County in Florida. So
that's right. We should have
maybe
thrown that
that
in the
could
news.
be
We
a damper.
completely missed our three pieces of news because we were so focused on Hell in a Cell. My bad. There we go.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe edit that in.
That also is a factor.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I think that they're actually like they are absolutely paying attention to what the NFL's been doing, and if you'll notice that particularly the games that take place in the Bible Belt of America, you're going to see some games that happen with some fans in the stands. So WWE will probably try to emulate that, and by rescheduling the next WrestleMania to take place in Tampa, they have a chance to do that. So if that's in play, we could conceivably see The Rock being Roman's opponent at WrestleMania, and I personally hope that happens because that's as big a main event as I can think of for WWE right now.
And if that match happens, I think we all agree Roman is winning. He's coming out on top of that one.
Of course, absolutely.
There's no way. There's no reason for. We don't need that same situation we saw with Rock versus Cena, where The Rock actually won, took the belt to Hollywood for a whole year. You know, remember that? He just never came back. He said, "I'll see you at Mania." Well, you're never going to defend it throughout the. Nope. I'll see you at Mania.
It didn't happen like that. Actually, I'm gonna have to correct you there.
What? He didn't? I could have swore he never came back.
So here's what happened. Before I get into the other stuff, what happened there was that The Rock hosted WrestleMania in Atlanta, and it was Cena against The Miz. Miz was defending the belt against Cena. The Rock was the host, but The Rock cost Cena the match by doing the Rock bottom on him. Then the following Raw, Rock issued the challenge to Cena. 1 year from now, next WrestleMania, you and I have a match. So they had that main event booked a year in advance.
Yeah, I remember that part. And then when it finally happened, The Rock won.
There was no belt on the line for the match in Miami. That was just
no belt. But he had the belt because I remember seeing Cena with the belt.
I'll get to that.
All right.
So this was supposed to be a one-off, okay? And Rock won that match. But then what happened is that, if you recall, CM Punk was in the middle of his long reign as champion. And when you got towards, I believe it was Survivor Series that year, Rock challenged Punk to defend his WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble. That's where The Rock won. At the Royal Rumble, he beat Punk and ended Punk's long reign.
The Rock beat Punk for the belt?
Yes, at the Royal Rumble.
I don't remember that.
A lot of people were pissed. I mean, I loved it because I love The Rock, but there was a lot of people that were pissed off.
Watch that match again.
Because that was Punk's chance to main event WrestleMania, and instead that spot was going to The Rock. So now The Rock had the WWE Championship, and he defended it against Cena at WrestleMania at Giant Stadium, MetLife Stadium.
And I remember that, and that's where Cena won.
Yep, and there Cena won because Cena won the Royal Rumble, and he decided to pick The Rock, as his opponent, and that's where you had The Rock versus Cena Part 2, and Cena won that match and became the champion.
Damn.
So that would happen.
I can't believe that. I don't remember him beating the Punk. I didn't remember them even feuding for the belt like that. Because I remember him winning and just leaving with the belt and waiting for that match to happen. And he was just never came back. He was just out in Hollywood, and we'd see pictures with him with the belt on sets and doing other things. And we're like, oh, they're pulling that whole thing again, what WCW did when they put the belt on,
That was 2013, because what happened in 2013 was Punk lost the belt to The Rock. And what happened is then The Rock revealed the new design of the belt, which makes it look like a big, belt buckle. Because at the time, Punk was going around with the spinner, and The Rock retired the spinner and introduced the new design, and he was parading it around Hollywood. Mm-hmm. So The Rock didn't have a match after beating Punk until WrestleMania when he faced Cena. So that's probably what you're thinking about was those 3 months leading up to it.
Out of sight, out of mind. I really forgot about Punk.
It's
he
fine.
Was involved in that.
It was a long time ago, but getting back into Roman versus Jey Uso, I've been thinking about this, and I thought it was very interesting that Jimmy Uso made his appearance on SmackDown, and he's going to play a role in this. I think that. So think of the stipulation for a second. It's an I Quit match, and these are both proud men. Jey Uso's not going to say I quit out of pain or whatever. It's going to be for something else, and I think that's something
his
else.
brother's going to say it for him, like when he threw in the towel?
No. No. Well, here's what's going to happen. What's going to happen is Roman's going to beat the living hell out of Jey Uso. Jimmy's going to come out to ringside. He's going to get inside the cell, going to beg Roman to stop, and then Roman's going to beat the crap out of Jimmy, or at least threaten to beat the crap out of Jimmy, and that's going to get Jey, out of sympathy for his brother, to say I quit, to get him to stop. Because if you think about it, the last pay-per-view, Jimmy stopped it for Jey by throwing in the towel, like out of mercy or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's going to show mercy to Jimmy. That's the only way Jimmy's going to quit, is if Roman's threatening Jimmy's, well-being by trying to beat the crap out of him, whatever. That's the only way I see that. And so, whether that's an elaborate plan by Jimmy because he's in on it with Roman or not, we'll have to see. But because you could have this thing where Jimmy was in on it, and just because he thinks that Roman should be the tribal chief, and you could have Jey disagreeing with Jimmy and reluctantly having to do this thing, but ultimately the Usos are going to have to fall in line with Roman, and they're going to start that whole thing, and then you'll start to see it's going to be a complicated thing if they do it like that, because we still see Jey Uso as a babyface. It wouldn't be the first time they've done something like this, because going back even further on an angle that I thought was kind of dumb was when John Cena lost to Wade Barrett and was forced to join the Nexus.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Nexus is a heel group, but John Cena was very clearly a babyface, and he was reluctantly having to help them out. So you had stuff like that.
We had it with Daniel Bryan with the Wyatt family.
Daniel Bryan with the Wyatt family. He was brainwashed or whatever.
Yeah.
You had I wasn't watching at the time, but I think that there was something where Shawn Michaels lost a match and had to work for JBL or something like that. I believe it was something like that, where he reluctantly had to help either JBL or Vince McMahon. It was one of those things. But it wouldn't be the first time that you have the sympathetic babyface having to do the heel's bidding. But that's what I think we're going to get. And as far as who Roman faces after that, I have no idea, and I kind of like that I don't know, because it just presents new possibilities. So,
but the one thing I think we all agree then right now is that he's going to have Jey and Jimmy by his side. He's got a crew now. This is it. This is how he's going to be the traditional heel that we were talking about. And I was saying, until he goes full heel, this will be full heel, because we're going to see probably where he's in trouble, whatever, and Jey and Jimmy help him out. They do something, whether they sneak in a shot or two here and there, or they distract the ref. We're going to see something. This is it. This is that. Yeah. This is their version. And I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with some little catchy name for it, too. Sell some merch.
Well, I mean, they when they were paired up, when they were all working together as babyfaces a few years back, they were going under the Bloodline as their group name. Mm-hmm. That was Roman and the Usos. They were the Bloodline. And I don't know if that's what they'll continue with, but he already has a ready-made thing like Roman Empire. Mm-hmm. It would make sense, but the Empire is being used right. Not that this may even matter, but in New Japan, Will Ospreay turned heel and started to form a small group, and they're called the Empire. So I don't know. They'll come up with something, but for now, after Sunday, it's looking like you're going to have a group of Roman Reigns, the Usos, managed by Paul Heyman, with possibly more to be added, because Roman's going to be. He's going to make sure he's protected. Yeah. And that's how that's kind of the chicken shit heel thing to do, but he's going to do that. He's going to protect his investment, and that's how he's going to get more heat on him. And so, yeah, so I have Roman absolutely retaining, and Jimmy will play a big part in that.
All right, Rich. What about you?
Yes, Roman Reigns will retain, and the only other comment that I will make is you made the comment that now we're going to see Roman Reigns become a super heel once he aligns himself with the Usos. I would say he's already a super heel because he has proven that he does not need the assistance of anybody to get a win. Because I look at the matches he's had previously where he inadvertently low blowed his opponent while he was being pinned and then proceeded to win by other means, whether it's just a spear out of nowhere or using chairs.
But remember, way back, if you remember, there was a match that we had our fan favorite over here, The Undertaker, and he did a low blow to Brock to win the match, and no one saw him as a heel for that. They were like, "Well, you got to do what you gotta do."
No. But this is different because the commentary emphasized when he did the low blow. Wait a second, did you see what Roman just did? It's like they emphasize because they want you to see what this guy is doing when he's making these decisions to do these attacks on people just to get away with, just to ensure he gets the victory. So this is different from the Undertaker. It's clear that he is a heel. They pipe in the boos every time he comes out also.
Oh, I can't wait till a live crowd to see if that's actually the reaction.
Oh yeah, I think it will be. They're building all of the groundwork for that now by how he is handling this current feud. So we'll see what happens. He's definitely winning tomorrow. There's no doubt about that. There's no debate about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think he'll get booed when there's live crowds, but they'll be booing like playing along. Like it'll be like fun to boo. The same way that MJF gets booed, even though the fans really like him because he's entertaining. I think that's what we're gonna get. There was another point I was going to make that now I have lost.
Well, keep thinking about it. I mean, I'll just throw this in. This is one of the things I agree. I have a feeling people are going to boo, just like you said with the MJF thing. But this is also what people wanted. The main reason why a lot of people booed is because Vince was pushing Roman down our throats as his top babyface. He was pulling that, and that's not how we saw him. We felt he wasn't great for that role, and he wasn't ready for that role. So to play a heel, and this is something we've always talked about, it fits better for him. He looks like a heel. His whole gimmick looks like a heel. All he needs is a cape, and he is a full-fledged evil villain. So this all works for me right now.
I love that thing that they put on him at the end of his match with Jey Uso, with the flowers and all that. Like, full tribal chief right there.
Well, remember, he said he has a new ring attire coming and a new song, new entrance. So maybe this is what they're waiting for. Once this is done and he has his crew, maybe we get something like that. Maybe we get like some kind of. The only one I could think of was like Umaga. Remember Umaga's song? Boonga Boonga. It was really deep but not too tribal. It was pretty cool. I could see something like that coming, and he comes out and he has his new attire. Who knows? Maybe he does get that cape. And he's just like standing there. Oh, and then on either side of him, he's got one of the Usos. I think that might be cool.
Yeah, no, they're totally building up towards that, and so like, I agree that it's going to have to be like the Usos are going to need to fall in line first before we start to see because we're getting those changes little by little. We're getting these layers to his character development for the first time in a long time, and I find that to be very refreshing. I remember what I was going to mention, and it was that when Undertaker did the low blow to Brock Lesnar, Undertaker was playing the heel role, actually. I believe that what led up to that was that I think it was like Seth Rollins against Brock Lesnar during a match, and things went dark, and then Undertaker appeared and chokeslammed Brock Lesnar, and then challenged Brock Lesnar to a pay-per-view match, and then and he was talking like a heel in a way, and then like did the low blow, and
because I remember that was also the same when he did the low blow when he got him in Hell's Gate. Undertaker got Brock in Hell's Gate, and remember Brock gave him the middle finger.
Brock gave him the
He gave him the finger, and then that's when it was over. So he like choked him out. But I thought that was a little cool. It was like, oh, you cheated, you son of a bitch. Here's the middle finger. Oh, damn, now I'm getting past that. Oh shit, I'm out.
Exactly.
I'm out. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Stop the fight. Stop the fight.
Yeah. I think that when WWE wants you to cheer or boo for someone, a lot of times they make it obvious based on
Well,
what they're
now that's what I'm saying. Like now, this is probably the best control that Vince has. The fact that he can pipe in the boos and the cheers. This is something that he wish he could probably do even when we have live crowds, and we've seen him try to do that, especially when it comes to Roman, when they were trying to pump in some cheers and stuff because of the reactions that he was getting.
Or when it would lower the volume when the crowds are booing out for his liking. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, people, that was it. Said it wasn't going to be too crazy. There was only 5 matches on this card, and nothing spectacular, nothing out of the ordinary. This is going to be pretty straightforward. Some good quality matches, though. This should be fun. We'll see what happens. So again, I was your host, Adam Vale, joined by Dana Abercrombie, Richard Bailey Jr., and Ricardo Negron. We're all from the Koalition. That's with a K, Koalition.com. You can go check that out. Got all kinds of good content out there. Thanks for downloading on iTunes and Spotify and viewing and listening over on YouTube. And we will see you for the next pay-per-view. I think the next one is Halloween Havoc, right? Or is it the AEW show?
I mean, if you want to count Halloween Havoc, like that's I believe this coming Wednesday. That's because it's during the week. It's on an episode of NXT, so it's like a special episode.
It's just considered. All right. I thought for some reason they were gonna push it off just like pay-per-view. So it's just a special.
It's a special, yeah, the same way like Great American Bash was, but it's one night instead of 2 nights.
Yeah. Well, I think it'll be fun. I have a feeling we're gonna see some good gimmicks on this one. So
the next big show will be Full Gear for AEW.
AEW Full Gear. Okay. All right, cool. And I can just predict now that whatever match Mox has on it, he will win because that's how it goes.
He's facing Eddie Kingston,
right?
so
He's definitely gonna win. That's right. He's definitely gonna beat Eddie Kingston. We all know that. Eddie Kingston's great on the mic. They've had some good feuds back in the day, CZW and all that stuff. But you know what? It's not gonna happen. He just got there. Not happening. But we'll talk about it on that pay-per-view show. All right, everybody. Thanks again for listening, and we will see you next pay-per-view. Peace.